Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. My name is Tori Solis, and today I'm throwing with a new clay body. This clay body is kind of weird because it can never be found again. This is a mixture of probably 12 different Cone 6-ish clay bodies from the Dallas Creative Arts Center. It's their recycled pugged clay, so everybody that is working there just kind of throws their bits and pieces into a bin all together, and then that gets slacked down and recycled and pugged into blocks, and then they resell it to help fund the art center. It's a really cool mix. I thought it was fun. They were like, well, it's going to be different every time. It's a mixture of speckled clays, red clays, white clays, porcelains, basically everything that's around Cone 6 to Cone 10, you name it, it's in there. So since I don't know a whole lot about what I'm throwing here, I just know it's probably going to be brown to beige and have some speckles in it. I have no idea what the absorption rate is going to be. I'm not doing any test tiles because I can't ever get it again. It's going to be different every time I buy a bag of this recycled mystery clay. So I'm just going to throw some basic planters with it because you can't go wrong with a good planter. It doesn't really matter what the absorption rate is. It doesn't need to be fully vitrified. And I just want to see how it comes out. It's a pretty fun concept to have a clay that's just going to do whatever it's going to do. And like I said, I'm expecting something kind of dark buff with some speckles in it. It threw really, really well. I actually really enjoyed throwing this mystery clay. Not that it matters because I am never going to be able to get an exact kind again. The only downside was that there were some pieces of like bisque, like sharp little tiny bits, not very many, but enough to be slightly frightening, because when you're throwing and you find a big sharp piece of sharp ceramic, it's a little unnerving because you could cut your fingers. I almost cut my pinky, but I managed to pull it out, and then I didn't find another piece after that. I was trying to make something kind of simple. I'm not going to do any real testing. I'm just going to throw them, trim them, and then I'm going to end up carving them, and I'm going to just throw them into the kiln and just see what comes out. I'll do a series review with this set of stuff once I get it pulled out of the kiln. I said I was going to make simple things and that I wasn't going to make it complicated, and then I ended up sitting down and carving every single one of these planters, so now they're more complicated than I initially planned. That's fine. I'm making these just so that I have a little bit of inventory for the upcoming local markets that I'm going to be doing. These probably aren't going to be online, and depending on how cool this mystery clay turns out, I might keep one for myself because I tend to do things like that. Depending on how this works out, I think I will end up buying more of this, even though I know that my next batches are always going to be different. I don't really mind the inconsistency, and I kind of like the adventure of seeing just what's going to come out whenever you finish up firing it. I might even start a 5-gallon bucket of Frankenstein recycled clay in my own studio. Right now I'm actually separating all of my recycled clays into different buckets so that I can reclaim them and know what I'm going to get, but I think it might be kind of fun to just make some, random mystery clay that comes out different every time. Consistency isn't super important for me, especially not when it comes to just the pottery. I would like some reliability when it comes to my sculptural work, but as far as pottery, every pot I make is basically a test tile. I like to experiment and explore and just see what comes out. I haven't really considered production with consistency to be something that I'm super interested in at this exact moment, though I do see the benefit of it and how it could be useful for sure. Just haven't really gotten into that personally. When I was carving these, I did a few with the cactus design that I worked on a lot earlier in my work, but it didn't really work out. That piece kind of broke and then I hadn't revisited that kind of carving, so I did 2 this time, and hopefully, you know, they'll both turn out, but maybe hopefully at least 1 if I don't get both of them. And then I did some of my normal kind of designs with the straight lines and the loop tool and a little bit of crater, a few of the sharper kind of arrow designs, and then I made a random vase with a sad wilting flower on it. Something just kind of experimental. I don't really love that last vase, isn't my favorite shape, but the cactuses I put on the 2 pots that were my favorite shapes. I'm hoping that those work out well. I'm not sure how I'm going to finish these. I know that I'm not going to have any tiles to test, so I'm just going to have to see how glazes work on this clay body. I'm hoping that if I use the studio glazes that I was using already at the Creative Arts Center, since most of those glazes fit most of the clays that theoretically all of this clay is made of, then they should fit this mystery clay. That's not exactly how the science works, but you know, it's a decent theory, so we'll just see how it works out. I was thinking about maybe doing some underglazing in the carvings, but really I haven't decided yet. But I have, as of doing this editing and all of that, put these in the bisque kiln actually today, so they're on their way to getting done. As always, I'm pretty excited to see how these different pieces are going to turn out. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see how these pots turn out, as well as get other weekly art videos, you can subscribe to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. And if you'd like to gain early access to all of my videos, access to exclusive content, as well as help to support my channel, you can find me at patreon.com/BlueNoseTrading. And I will see you guys next week with another art video, and here in a few weeks with the results from this series of mystery work.